Hello everyone, in our last video you saw us catching the ferry from southern Italy and crossing the Adriatic Sea to Croatia. We travelled along the coast road to an abandoned military base on the most southerly point.
So we've only been here a few minutes, but I'm already loving the scenery on this coast. It's so rugged and rocky and mountainous, and it's really picturesque with all the little white buildings with the red clay tiled roofs. You know, it looks really pretty. So yeah, I reckon this is going to be really nice, Croatia. We're driving right the way down to the very bottom part. You can't go any further south. It's only about half an hour drive out of Dubrovnik, and there's a little peninsula that sticks out into the Adriatic Sea, and we're hoping that's going to be our first park up. A few comments. You guys that follow us on Instagram, we post daily on Instagram pictures of where we are, and it's a lot more up to date than the YouTube is, and a lot of you guys that follow us on Instagram have suggested various places to stay, and this was one of them. So thanks very much everyone who follows us on Instagram, and if you're not already, the link's here at the bottom, and we put daily pictures up of where we are, and thank you for all your suggestions. So here we are, guys, on the most southerly point in Croatia. This used to be an old military base here, but now it's all derelict. All the buildings are all derelict, and there's loads of little roads in between all the bushes and trees here, but it's absolutely stunning, and the weather today is glorious as well. Out there, Adriatic Sea as far as the horizon. Sun's lovely. And then what you can see behind me, those hills in the distance, that's Montenegro, and just back down the road there is the border crossing into Montenegro, because obviously that takes you completely out of Europe into another country altogether. And actually from this location your mobile phone and Wi-Fi picks up Montenegro telephone network, which is out of the EU, so it's out of your EU roaming, so you have to disconnect your automatic networks and search for one of the Croatian networks, and we can just barely pick it up. But yeah, what a fantastic location, absolutely stunning. Dodgy one-handed. These are good to explore, aren't they? you've noticed, being this far south, we're a little bit out of the phone network areas. Just over my shoulder there in the distance, that is Montenegro over the water there, and we're only 2 minutes down the road here from the border crossing. And if we left our phones on automatic network selection, it was actually selecting Montenegro networks, which is outside of the EU, so it was using full price data for international roaming. So what you need to do is you need to go into your phone, into network settings, take it off of automatic network, and then select the 2 or 3 Croatian networks that just about reach this area in order to get a phone signal where you can use your EU data roaming package. So yeah, it's not too bad, but small price to pay for this absolutely stunning location.
We spent a couple of days at this lovely spot, relaxing and soaking up the sunshine. Because it was out of the holiday season, most of the campsites are now closed, so it's more accepted to wild camp, but please do respect the beauty of these areas for others to enjoy.
So today is like the turning point of this trip for us, because this is the furthest south that we're going to be on this particular trip. We're about 54 days in, or nearly 2 months into the trip. We're going to spend a few weeks in Croatia, so we're outside of the Schengen zone, to extend our 90 days, and then we've already got our tunnel booked back to the UK on the 21st of December, so we're back just in time for Christmas with family and friends. So as that little park up, lovely little stop that was, that's our furthest away from home, if you like. And now, although it's going to be a slow trip back, a couple of months to get back to the UK, we're sort of turning around and going home effectively. So yeah, it's I don't know, a strange feeling really. It's we're like a homeward journey really. So although we've still got plenty of places to explore and plenty of places to see, but yeah, this is the trip home. After those few relaxing days in the sun, we took the coastal road back up to Dubrovnik to visit the old town.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright.
So we looked at parking places for the city of Dubrovnik. You're a little bit limited as to where you can stay, especially at this time of year, November. A lot of the campsites are actually shut now. It's out of season. So we looked on Park for Night, and the parking at the hospital here, you can stay on a 24-hour ticket for 110 kunas, which is, what did it work out, babe?
About £12, I think it was.
About £12 for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad really. So the van will be okay till tomorrow morning, and then it's quite a nice little walk, about 3 kilometres, but along the coast, so we should get some nice views of the sea as we make our way down into the city. And then we're going to walk around the old town, which is the old walled city. Yep. Show you some pictures of that, and hopefully grab a bite to eat, and possibly
have a request from Sue Brown.
Oh right, okay.
To find the restaurant.
Yeah.
Lady PP, and
really?
You'll see why it's called that if we make it there.
Okay, so we've got to try and search it out for Sue and Paul.
Yep.
Right.
They have been apparently, and said it's very nice. So we really should have charged our scooters, but never mind.
Right, so onwards. We need some exercise. We've been sitting down for the last couple of days. So.
We have a lovely spot,
Yeah.
but hey, this will make up for it, I'm sure.
Just to show you guys, that's the hospital there. we walked down this little footpath down here. We're here at the moment, and then we've only got to walk down this road here and we're at the old city. Piece of cake. So there we go, only 30 to 40 minutes max, and we're down here, predominantly downhill though.
Yeah.
So that means
About an hour for me on the way back.
at least there's probably more.
Or a taxi.
But yeah, we're here just outside the old walled city, so we'll give you a look around. So there we go, Sue and Paul. We may have to censor some of this because of the, the age limit on YouTube, but we made it to the Lady PP statue.
And
Disgusting.
Unfortunately, the restaurant is closed until April next year now,
Yeah,
so we've missed out after all those stairs.
We've climbed about 300 steps for you guys just to
get
see
this.
So, right, let's go and get a drink.
Yeah, I think we deserve one.
Okay, cheers. Through a doorway on the south side of the old town wall, you'll find the Buzzer Bar, and what better way to end the day than to watch the sunset. We've only travelled about half an hour outside of Dubrovnik, just going up the coast just a little bit further north, and ideally we were looking for a campsite today because the van had run out of water, so we needed to fill up with some fresh water and obviously empty the toilet and things like that, and it'd be handy just to have a nice shower, you know, just for an overnight stop. So We picked a couple of campsites just about half an hour outside of Dubrovnik, pulled into one. The reception was shut, but there was a telephone number on the reception door, so I phoned. The lady answered. She was really nice, really helpful. She did actually explain they were actually closed as of the 1st of November. The campsite was shut, and yeah, to our surprise, she actually said, but please, you know, you're welcome to stay overnight. You can use the facilities. There's no charge. I'm not going to name the campsite because I think technically they're not really allowed to be open, or they're not supposed to be open at this because it's the end of the season. But she was so friendly and so helpful. She's allowed us to stay on the site and use the facilities, which is, you know, just shows you the fantastic nature of the Croatian people. Really, really helpful. So, you know, you can't do any better than that. And somebody else was telling us that because most of the campsites are shut and it's out of season, it's more acceptable at this time of year to wild camp because there's no other alternative. The campsites are shut, so you haven't got any other options. So if you find a car park and there's no signs that say there's, you know, overnight camping is prohibited, then it's fairly acceptable to just do an overnight stop. So yeah, that might be an option for you if you're looking for a cheaper way to get around Croatia. You can wild camp when it's out of season. But yeah, and then we just strolled down from the campsite to this tiny little, sort of like a tiny little harbour really, and beach area. The sea's beautiful and clear, but it's a bit windy and choppy today. Yeah, I'll pan round and I'll show you. So we've left that little campsite and got to say a huge anonymous thank you to the owners of that site for allowing us to stay there when technically it's not really open, but it just goes to show the generosity of the Croatian people, you know, fantastic. So yeah, it was very welcomed and thank you very much. We found out today when planning our route north and the places that we want to go and visit in North Croatia that you can't make it from southern Croatia to North Croatia on the mainland without going through Bosnia and Herzegovina. So you have to cross the two border crossings. It's literally a stretch of Route 8, I think, that's about 10 kilometres long. But obviously it takes you out of Croatia and out of the EU, and there's two border crossings. And I know for a fact our insurances and everything else, ridiculous as it may seem, we're not covered to be in Bosnia. It would be one stretch of road for 10 minutes. I know it sounds crazy. So you either take that risk, go through the two border crossings. The reviews, some are good, some are bad. Some say they've look at your passport, 2 seconds, go straight through. Others say they waited there for 2 hours and the police were really unhelpful. So you don't know what to do really for the best. But so we've looked at some options, and loads of people have recommended that we go to 2 or 3 places on some of the islands. Said they're absolutely beautiful, definitely worth a visit. So there is a road that goes off the mainland before you get to the border onto one of the first of the islands. We then drive up to the top of the island. We do a stop over there, which is really scenic apparently. Then we can get a really short little ferry crossing across to the next island, which is only something like £15. It's really cheap, and you can just turn up and get on and go over. And then we drive up the next island, and then there's a longer ferry crossing back to Split on the mainland. So we thought, yeah, what the hell, you know, that's going to make it a lot more interesting if we do some island hopping, a couple of ferry journeys into the mix as well, and we don't have any trouble with crossing any other borders, and we haven't got any problems if anything does happen and we're not insured. At least this way we stay in Croatia and we haven't got any problems. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're heading about an hour and 45 minutes up the coast of Croatia, onto the first of the sort of islands, drive up to the north of that island, and then to our first overnight stop, which hopefully should be a nice little beach wild camping spot. And the other thing that we've learned as well is that because it's out of season and all the campsites are pretty much closed, that it's a lot more accepted to wild camp here in Croatia. And that's what we're going to be doing. We've got a little park up by a beach that's surrounded by nature, and hopefully there's enough spaces there we can get in there tonight. We just get there just before sunset with any luck. Yeah, so that's going to add a few little exciting bits to our trip. So yeah, follow us up this coast on this wet and miserable day, but hopefully we'll get some nice views of the coast as we drive up Croatia.
What a difference a day makes, huh?
I've been feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive.
So we've pulled off the main road now, which is the number 8 road, and we're on the 414, heading off the mainland onto this long spit of land which runs parallel with it. Lovely sort of valley just in front here. Try and get that for you in a second. So over there now in the distance is Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we're still on this little bit of land which is Croatian. We're heading up to the far end, and then hopefully tomorrow we'll catch a ferry across to one of the islands. And interestingly enough, actually, we found out that to avoid going through Bosnia and having to do these 2 border crossings, they're actually in the process of building a massive great big bridge so that all the Croatian people can just drive from Croatia to Croatia without any ferries.
Or border crossings.
Or border crossings.
Is that it?
And that's it.
It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Lay my troubles to rest. Blow the smoke through my cigarette. City lights looking fine, and I know this is my time now. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now. I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes. I just wanna feel alive. It's just what I do when I'm out, so try not to hold me down. Feel alive when I'm in this town. Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me, no, no, nothing can break me. Look at the beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else. I'm gonna be myself, I'm gonna be someone else.
Good morning, guys. Well, that was an exciting day yesterday. We had quite a bit of rain coming over those mountains to the end of this little bit of land. Over in the distance there I can see the other island, and either today or tomorrow we're going to get the little ferry ride across to that island, which as I said before was only about £15, and I think they run nearly every hour, so it's just turn up, pay and on you go service. It's really mild though. I'm amazed. We've had so much rain yesterday, and it's forecast rain and thunderstorms for the next few days, so we're going to have to try and make the most of it. But it's still really mild. It's like 19-20 degrees. As you can see, I'm still in a t-shirt, so yeah, it's not that cold. I can just see in the distance there, with his lights on, a policeman there. We're on just a disused campsite actually. It is on park for night as a park up, and out of season beyond October I think it is acceptable for you to stay here. There's loads of open space in between these trees here. You can see the sea and probably a shingly beach just over those little bushes there, and there's the other island in the distance there you can see. But no, he hasn't ventured down to say hello or see what we're doing, so all's good. We're going to go and shoot off to the supermarket in a second and get some shopping anyway. We're fairly low on provisions, and then we'll decide whether we catch the ferry over there today, have a look at the weather I think, and whether we can actually park up over there, because obviously we've got to get ferry over there, decide whether we can camp or park anywhere, and then get the bigger ferry from there back over to the mainland to Split, which is a 2.5 hour ferry trip. So we either do that all in one day, or we stop on the island for a day and then do the other ferry the following day. Oh yeah, a few things to mull over, and the weather's not helping, but we're going to make the most of it, see what we can do. Yeah, so looking at that small flag in the distance there, the wind is blowing in this direction, which means that all of those heavy black rain clouds over the top of the mountains there are heading this way. So yeah, we might go and do some shopping and then see how this pans out. Such a shame, because this is such a beautiful part of the coast here. We want to go over there and explore the town over there. Obviously we'd like to do that, you know, with some clear skies, so we can get a decent look around. Won't be much fun if it's lashing it down with rain, but okay, let's go and get some shopping done. So we managed to find this Tommy hypermarket, which is about 9 minutes down the road. There's quite a few of these local little shops dotted all around, so that's quite handy. We've been able to get a weekly shop in there, but those clouds, look, can hardly see the mountains now. It's still really mild, but it feels like it's going to absolutely chuck it down in a minute. So I think there's a little campsite just a little bit further along where we can probably get in there, get on the hookup, and I can do a bit of editing and get another one of these videos out to you. And then I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, weather's a bit better tomorrow, we'll get the ferry across to the island.
That evening it poured down on top of the van, but we were treated to an amazing light show. In our next video we managed to catch the small ferry across to the island of Coastline. We explore the old town and find another beautiful wild camping spot. So please make sure to subscribe, it's free and you wouldn't want to miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.